Steve, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. How's everything, brother?
How was your event Thursday?
Oh, phenomenal. We had upwards of about 100 plus people there. The weather was beautiful. We had a little bit of wind on the beach, which is a given. But it was just it was unforgettable. Left a lasting impression on every single person that came through the door.
Wow. Okay, we'll get into that in the end. Let's start off by telling me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Where'd you grow up?
Born in Queens.
Okay.
Moved out to Long Island when I was about 5-6 years old. Grew up in Comac here on Long Island. And just always was in sports. Always playing with friends outside. Always playing sports.
What kind of sports? What was your favorite?
Baseball and soccer were my two top sports, but I play everything. I played hockey. I played I played basketball. Anything that kept the adrenaline going.
Competitive?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a little bit?
Yeah, man, just a little bit.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to school, so I graduated from Comac High, and I went to school at Penn State.
4 years or
4 years. We are, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Joe Paterno.
Joe was a great guy. Maybe Sandusky, maybe not so much, but
that's right. Yeah.
We get that. That'll be another rabbit hole, right?
Got you into real estate, I guess.
Oh my god.
So what? Go to college. What did you go to school for?
Actuarial science. Believe it or not, I wanted to be an actuary. You ever seen Along Came Polly?
Yeah.
So Ben Stiller was an actuary.
Yes, he was.
He was in the insurance space, just crunching numbers all day, and I did that for about a year out of school. And I said, "There's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to sit here for the next 30 years of my life behind the desk crunching numbers all day."
Just getting people approved like that.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was designing retirement plans.
Wow,
it's almost similar to watching paint dry. So
I bet. Yeah, watching 5-year-olds play baseball.
Yeah, and then I saw the owner of the company, right, who was, I guess, an entrepreneur. And I saw how much stress and how boring his days were, and how excited he would get in terms of just getting upset with people. And I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way. No. Yeah.
How real was that movie then? Was it? I always thought about that.
That's pretty much on par with what they do.
Really?
It's all forecasting.
So the guys swimming with alligators and
sharks. That's his personal side. He needs a little more excitement in his personal life, right?
Right. Yeah, that was freaking hysterical on Ken Polly.
Oh my god!
So, all right. So you go to Penn State. You finish school.
Yep.
Have your 1 year.
Yep.
Then what do you do?
Then I realized I needed to be around people. So I went into the financial world where I was able to be a financial advisor.
Okay.
That's where I learned sales from top to bottom.
What did you work for?
I worked for AXA Advisors.
Okay.
Yeah, in New York City. So it's where I learned to wake up early. That's where I learned to have a great regimen and a schedule. I was waking up at 5 o'clock into the city by 7, and then some nights wasn't getting home till 9, 10 o'clock, and doing it all over again. So that really taught me a tremendous amount of responsibility. Creating a great schedule, early mornings, late nights type thing, the grind, if you will, and did that for almost about a year and a half or so.
Year and a half. Okay.
Yep.
And then what happened?
And that's when I had started my real estate business. Yeah.
What made you get into real estate?
Oh man, I just knew that these corporate style positions, jobs, just weren't for me. All throughout college, I was reading real estate books, always asking people questions that were in the space, and knew I wanted to do something within real estate. I just had no idea which way I wanted to go. Thankfully, right, real estate you have the ability to just kind of go in a million different directions.
What was the first direction you wanted to?
The investment side.
Okay, take me through that.
Yeah. So early on, about 23 years old, I started a rehab, right, renovation, fix and flip business, if you will, here locally on the island, and did still do that to today, right? But really was able to create some early traction and build some amazing relationships early on, which I think helped set up the success in this world, in the real estate sales world.
It's so cool. So you remember your first job, your first
project? Oh, absolutely, man.
Is that still good?
Well, I mean, it went well. Right? It's
Okay.
profitable, created. I mean, I learned.
23 years old. So,
23 years old. Yep,
Okay.
23. And I got started. And first project was in East Northport.
Okay.
It was. I would consider it today. I consider it a light rehab. Right.
Okay.
It was set up as like almost like a 2-family, but it was more so like a mother-daughter that was grandfathered into that. Right. So. It was smooth for the most part. Of course, you have your high hopes as to what your profit margins may look like. Of course, they typically are shrunken down, but it was
Take me through that real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. How did you look at your profit margin? Like when you bought the property, what was that the first thing you looked at? Is your profit margin, or
of course? I mean, so at the end of the day, you always on the investment side, right? You always make your money on the purchase, right? You always make your money when you buy, and I still believe that's it today, right? If you buy wrong, you're already putting yourself in a hole. So we always would run a deal analysis from start to finish. Probably running at that point, we were probably running about 20 to 30 deal analyzers, right, a week, right? Because we were making 20, 30 offers a week just to be able to get that one.
Okay.
So that's really, that really was able to help us to be able to build traction and start to gain more and more projects.
What's the percentage you're looking to make when you were doing that?
Minimum 15 to 20%.
15. What would you say it's now?
It's 20 to 25%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, I remember when it went down.
Yep.
Those guys were getting 6%. They were doing it at 6, 7%.
Yeah.
Which I thought was nuts.
It's nuts. I mean, and I think, listen, if you have the bandwidth and you have the team around you to be able to do that type of volume for those small hits, great. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. How many homes did you do first year?
First year we did about 7.
7.
Yeah.
You don't mind me asking, own money, or did you go out to the world and
a little bit of both? So initially, kind of, we were able to take out lines of credit through our credit cards, private money, family and friends, and then of course I built a couple of great relationships with some private money lenders, which really helped us get our feet off the ground. Okay, so and then of course we had every now and then we would take some hard money on a couple of these projects as well. So, but it was coming from nothing, really having none of my own money out of college, and just having a very small nest egg to be able to make do here.
So you're saying we? Who's we?
So at the time, my girlfriend who's now my wife.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
she helped kind of get things off the ground and really helped create that early momentum that we saw, and she supported the heck out of me, right? So, taking the leap of faith like that, leaving almost a 6-figure paycheck, right? Going to just get into real estate is a tough thing to swallow, a tough thing to do. So she was able to help us float, being an RN.
What did she do?
She's a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was able to help things float early on and really helped us to get our feet on the ground and help build that foundation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty darn cool. Not everybody can say they have a sugar mama like that.
Yeah. I could. So then take me through your life after that, and how long you did that before you got into your real estate license.
So we did that for, I'd say, about 3 years prior to getting licensed.
Okay.
Got licensed late 2018, and early on started out at a different brokerage at Nest Seekers, and didn't really do much.
Okay.
Didn't really do much at all. Just kind of was learning the MLS, trying to get acquainted with.
Were you doing that to cut the margins and the flips?
So initially, I got it just to have access to the MLS, right? To be able to have access to the MLS, see what were the agents seeing, right? What were my sales guys seeing, right? Be able to learn that system, and then eventually, right, have a plan to then have myself and mom be able to sell our real estate that we're flipping at the
Is
time.
mom licensed at this point?
She got licensed shortly afterwards because I had her get licensed so that she could start to help me sell these properties.
Okay.
And to help me, really create a little bit more of a back end and an admin role as well.
I was talking to your mom. She was pretty aggravated at you that you left the real world to get into real estate.
You have no idea. That was a huge fight, right? She's like, she's which I understand. Went to school 4 years for this degree. Spent all this money on an education, and then you completely take it and you pivot, right? So yeah, and I think school gave me an amazing perspective, gave me an amazing experience to learn to be out on my own, right? Build some great relationships that I still have today, and some amazing friendships. But at the end of the day, I don't think I would have been happy, right, staying in that role.
And she said that. She said she's a lot happier now than she was back then because you got the whole family into it, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a lot. Everyone always asks me, so when did mom bring into the business? And for me, it was, when did I bring mom into the business? And it's a cool feeling. It's an amazing, thing to be able to wake up every day that you work with your family, especially your mother.
When's the baby getting into the business?
Oh man, she's ready to go. She's ready to go.
Awesome.
You put up. All I got to do is put her in one or two of her marketing videos, and I think she'll sell this development, this new
awesome.
dev.
So that's awesome. So I remember coming up, and there was one lady, I'm not going to mention her name. She's competition. She used to do that. Use her kids for the marketing, and I was like, wow.
Listen, man, whatever works, right?
Whatever it is. But all right, so you're at Nest Seekers. You leave. How long are you there for?
I would say we're there for like about 8 months. 8 months, and it's funny because initially, mom was like, why don't we go over to Keller Williams? Because she at the time she knew someone over there, and I was like, I don't really know much about it. I know a couple of people that were in Nest Seekers. Let's just hang our license here. And at the time, they had no dues, no monthly, so we hung it there. Didn't really get much support or anything like that, and realized, hey, this is something that we want to take seriously. We got to go someone that's going to truly give us, the education and the support that we're going to need.
So without mentioning the other names of the places, when you made your decision, how many places were you looking at?
Probably about 4. I would say about 4 we interviewed, and really was able. We dropped it down to 2. It was Keller and then one other brokerage at the time, and of course, the decision we made.
Sure. I think you were interviewing with somebody that worked for us.
That's right.
That was your second one, right?
Yeah. Yep. That was amazing. The top 2.
That's funny how that works, right?
It's so funny.
You were meeting with Lauren at the time.
Yep.
That's interesting. That's so
Mom fell in love with Lauren. She's like, we're going there. I was like, let's take a step back, and
Lauren ends up in the city.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And she kills it in the city for me. And now she's back, obviously, as the GM, and she's running the whole Long Island now for me.
We love Lauren. Between Lauren and Jules, like, they were. Those were like our mother hen, and then Jules was our go-to.
That's right. Jules is awesome too, and it's great. And you got Erica, and you got Rebecca, Annabelle. We got a good group of people, So
amazing group of people.
Yeah, it's I like to.
You're a lucky man.
I think they're lucky to be in my world. I think it's the other way around. I think Julia sitting over there. I think she. Gets up every morning thanking God that she's with Rich Amato. And she's
Jules, don't spit your water out back there.
But all right, so you end up in the real estate world. And what's your goals now? You start. What got you into actually selling, right? Because we sort of took a similar path. I went to work with my aunt. Got into the management world, and then from the management world, I ended up getting into the brokerage world to basically put deals through for myself and just so we can save on the the cost.
Sure.
day one, I fell in love with it because I just enjoyed doing deals. It was fun, right?
Yeah.
So what was it for you? And let me ask you this. Sorry to jump into your space so much. When did you get into mortgages? Because you're in both, right? So did you get into mortgages around the same time, or did it take
shortly after? So it's funny, and I'll tell the story really quickly. I got into the mortgage space when we had a deal that we were buying, right? A partner and myself, we were buying a deal, and we were 75% through the process, and the deal completely blew up, right? Almost lost the deal, almost lost our down payment. It was an absolute disaster. And at that moment, I said to myself, how hard could this be? How hard could it be to put this together, do the right thing by people, and create an environment for a borrower to feel comfortable and not have to worry about potentially losing a down payment? And that's when I got my license. Shortly after that. Yeah.
So did you get licensed immediately, or
I got licensed. I got a license immediately after that deal. So the deal finally went through after 2 months of back and forth, and we had a relationship with the seller. Otherwise, this deal we would have lost the deal without a doubt. We had a great relationship with the seller. The deal wound up going through, and I would say about 2 months later, I got my license.
Okay, so it wasn't when you were able to work under somebody else's license first. You got to get licensed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
When did you get licensed? What was this?
I got my mortgage license, I would say in either about 2020, 2019, 2020, somewhere around there.
Went to Nationwide, right?
I went to South Shore Mortgage.
Okay.
South Shore Mortgage, great guy. Just wound up having an amazing relationship with the broker over there. He taught me the ropes, and realized I just needed a little bit more, and I needed a little more push. So I wound up going over to Hartford, which I was there for over 4 years. Amazing guys, amazing ownership over there, and
They were upstairs from us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We moved upstairs over in Woodbury,
That's right.
which was quite convenient.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Beat that.
Yeah, that was a tough decision to move on from there.
Where are you now?
Over at Cliffco Mortgage Bankers in Uniondale. So a little bit more of a hike, right? From St. James to Woodbury out to Uniondale. But you know what? It puts me in a position where I get to go out in Nassau, which I'm not out there as much as I used to be.
Okay. So now how do the two work? Mortgages and real estate. How do you do that?
Great
Just doing
question.
real estate alone is freaking a lot.
Yeah. Well, when you understand, when you came from where I came from, right, and my goal, right, was to be in real estate, right, to be the knowledge broker in the real estate space, in the real estate ecosystem, if you will, right. So when you have that mindset, right, it's almost like if you understand the business as a whole, it's really not that hard to plug yourself into these different roles, right? As long as you have the support around you, the team around you to be able to handle the time investment that goes into it, that's the key. But in terms of the business, if you understand the business from start to finish, and as a real estate agent, you better know your mortgage business, right? You better know where the mortgage rates are trending to. You better know your financials, right? Otherwise, you're gonna be put out of business, right? So it just helps me stay even more sharp in each space, even in the investment side, right? If I understand the financials and the mortgage side of it, then I'm that much more crisp when I'm making my deals.
Interesting.
So it helps kind of bring things full circle for myself.
In the management world too?
Yeah.
What's that look like?
I mean, listen, I think, at the end of the day, it's leadership at the end of the day, right? When you can when you can lead by example, right? And you can put yourself in a position to bring others along for the ride, and you're building a big enough world to do so, which you know just as well as I do, is not an easy task. But when you're able to do that, the managing side, the leadership side of things starts to come almost second nature.
So it's interesting, right? So on the management side, where's the majority of your properties?
So most of my properties are down in Florida
Okay.
and out in Pennsylvania.
You okay with the storms?
Thank God, yes.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's just crazy what the insurance world looks like down there, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But, for a reason, right? Nobody wants to get into the space because of all these hurricanes and natural disasters.
Yeah. How far away from them?
Most of our stuff is in Orlando. So we're kind of...
Just missed it.
Yeah, so...
God.
Of course, a lot of rain, a lot of wind, flooding and stuff like that, but we do have some property down in Naples, which, thank God, has been great because we're not
Commercial or residential?
residential.
Okay.
So it's a little further from the strip and from the water, so it's not as floodworthy, if you will.
Okay.
And then of course we're on some bigger JV deals and stuff like that down south as well, more so on the commercial side.
Okay. What do you, if you don't mind me asking, what's the commercial side look like?
Sure.
What do you recommend getting into?
So the way that we've always done business on the commercial side is following the sponsors, right, and the general part of the GPs that know what they're doing,
Mhm.
right, and really have a great track record, someone that you can build a relationship with. And that's who we've kind of partnered with over the past decade, is the people that we know are in a place that can handle a pivot and a shift in a market, and have been through those shifts before. Because $30 million property, $40 million property, I think it's one thing goes wrong and you're not positioned properly. Yeah, you're in for it, right?
Yeah,
So that's kind of how we've always set ourselves to succeed on the commercial spaces, connecting with those right people, and then you learn from them as well through reporting and everything. Your quarterly reporting, etc.
What I noticed in the silly question: what's easier, the residential side or the commercial side when it comes to management? Commercial's all money, right?
I would say, there's a lot less emotion and a lot less people that you're dealing with, right? When you're dealing with the commercial side, yeah, of course you're dealing with people, but it's more so corporations, right? So you take a lot of the emotion out of it, and like you said, it's very black and white. The numbers work, yes. If not, that's it.
Move on.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, there's a lot more zeros, in front of it, but it creates a little bit more of an analysis, if you will.
So in your places, anchor tenants?
In the larger commercials, yeah, absolutely.
So you got the anchor tenants, and then you're revolving around that.
Yeah, and these GPs, they typically go after the similar anchor tenants, right? Your Targets, your Walmarts. They go after the Five Belows, these guys that have this amazing online presence, but also have a great brick and mortar, right? So they know how to balance the two.
So what? Silly question. COVID scared the shit out of you, or?
You know what? Not really. Just because I knew that I had the right team, right? Of course, the distributions change.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, right? Distributions we're cut in half.
Wow.
But we're back to where we were, if not beyond that right now.
Okay.
So, I think I had such confidence in that management group and the communication and transparency was all there. So it really wasn't something that I was like, oh shit, we're screwed. It wasn't that.
Well, have you, personal question, been picking up properties because of all of that? Did other people do it wrong and was able for you to get deals, especially in the commercial world? Or?
Yeah, you know what? I think, I definitely, that's typically how these properties are acquired, right? Over the past 10 years, it's, whether it's something that's 3 units or, 350 units, very similar, right? If the operator's not doing their job and they're not positioning the property in the best light and adding value to it, then there's going to be an opportunity for you to come in and help that person out and take it off their hands. That's the way I look at it. I'm not looking at it as, oh, I'm stealing this property from someone. No, I'm helping them out. Stopping the bleeding, right?
It's interesting, right after COVID, with our New York City Market Center, we were looking at properties. I think I told you about this. We were looking at properties where they were giving us half the property just to come in and take over the lease, and guarantee $50,000, $60,000 a square foot.
Yeah.
The lease, and actually lost the deal because I was too careful.
Oh.
And I wish I had that back, because it got rented out. It's doing well now. I'm happy for the owner, but I like the commercial world when it comes to owning properties a little bit better than the resi side. Like you said,
it's easier. You know what? It's a little bit easier to scale as well, right? Because you have a lot more doors, right? You have a lot more units. You have a lot more storefronts.
Right.
That again, it takes a little more of a partnership. It takes more money, of course, but at the end of the day, if you have the right people, and the right operators, and the right partners, then
it's moving well, and you're in a good position. All right, so now take me through it. So you have all of these things going on. Did you do this on purpose because it works well with each other? And then who else did you get involved in this? Do you have like relationships with other vendors to bring it in, like in your world, like in the real estate world and the mortgage world and the management world? Take me through that, because it all merges together.
Yeah.
Right. So what does your life look like now? Like, what does your world look like today?
It's a great question, and it's complex, right? I think it's not a basic answer. I think there's, of course, there's relationships, there's affinity partnerships, there's vendors that we partner with, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport, right? And real estate for me has always been a team sport. It was shortly after my first year in the industry that I realized I need to partner with the right people. And until we partnered and we really linked up with the right people, that's when things started to take off for us. And that's when things started to become easier, if you will, right? And started to become a little bit more natural and less forceful. So, partnering Keller Williams with Clifco, I think, is a beautiful marriage. I don't think enough people take advantage of the beauty of being able to do both. And it's not even just about, because I'm still able to have other real estate relationships, right, and other mortgage relationships. It's just about creating a world where everybody can win. And when you create a big enough world where everyone can win, and you're providing enough opportunity and value for people, then those partnerships just continue to flourish. So it's all about putting yourself in the right position to be able to win and bringing others along with you and creating more opportunity. And that's why, right, we're plugged so heavily into Keller in your world, is because at the end of the day, I know that if there's something that is needed or I have a hole in my business, I know that it can be plugged just based on relationships and just based on the value that we all have, especially in your world, right? You have to be able to provide us, and whether that's through education, right? Just being able to kind of learn what I need to do, a relationship, right? Maybe it's someone that needs to be hired in the business, or it's just creating some sort of solution through multiple things, right? That can help us plug that hole.
Yeah, it's all about relationships at the end of the day. I think you hit it right on the head without that. It's all about the relationships, and sorry about that. And that, again, that's all I tried to create with us, is just putting us in the right position, to have the right relationships at the right times, and then create the opportunity that's needed for us. And we're in multiple partnerships together, you and I, and plan on doing many more with you, obviously, as we grow. Take me through your real estate career now. Like, get into the business. How does it start? So first year, what do you do?
So it was super organic, right? At that point, we were still heavily invested into the investment side of the business, right? So still fixing and flipping, still buying, our buying homes, etc. And naturally, through mom and I, our relationships here locally on the island, it was, hey, can you help me buy something? Hey, I'm looking to sell my house. Hey, I see you guys are doing this and this. I just spoke to, Uncle Mike, right? And
Mike.
Aunt Michelle. So, it was basically natural, right? And it, this side of the business just grew organically and created this snowball effect where we weren't necessarily ready for it. So that's kind of when I had to spend a little more time in this business, because mom was kind of dealing with a lot of it, and there was a point where she said, "Steve, I'm really gonna start to need more help here." So I started to take a little bit more of my time and energy and pour my resources into that, which is when things really started to flourish. But year one didn't do much at all, right? Because first 8 months, we were kind of just getting our feet wet. Came over to Keller, really started to create a name for ourselves. Started to build a little momentum there, and really start to learn the business. Because I understood the real estate business, but this is completely different, especially when you're growing from the ground up, and you don't start with a team, which I think has its benefits as well, being able to plug into a model and a system that's just already on fire.
Mm-hmm. So when did your real estate career really take off with you?
I would say it was year 3. Like year 3 is really when it started to gain, massive momentum.
How long have you been in the industry? I'm sorry.
I've been licensed for 5 years. And I've been in the real estate business for nearly a decade.
Okay. So it takes off a couple of years ago.
Yep.
You take off.
Yep.
Okay. We were just talking outside right before we started this. Next year, you're hoping that you're going to gross $1 million or net $1 million? Just on the brokerage side, we're talking about.
Gross
$1 million.
Yep.
What does that look like? How do you do that?
The right hires, right?
Okay.
The right hires, because I think we have a great foundation right now. But I do believe we're going to need more leverage to get there. And I think that all starts with a little bit more of an admin structure, right? Whether that's 1, 2, 3 new admins, maybe an ISA or 2, something that can help really grow and continuously help us follow up with our database, right? Because I think we have a massive database, and we have great influence, right, in the industry. It's just about being able to touch the right points, right, consistently enough and the right way, right, so that you can then be able to reap those benefits and be able to help more families, right? So, and if we're able to help somewhere in the ballpark of, I would say about 120 families, that's kind of when we'll net $1 million.
You'll net $1 million. That's
correct.
It's funny. We had a little while ago. We had Raphael Ching on. And he's at 105. I think he did transactions. He's looking to do 270 next year. It's based on his MRE and NREA, and it's based on the way he was explaining it to me was, like you said, the hires. And you've been to career visioning like 9 times, where he's constantly learning on how to hire, and it's the most important thing. It's really interesting how you able to grow in our industry. And it was an amazing conversation. Like, he started out as a chicken farmer and went into the real estate world. And
amazing.
He came here with nothing, and now he's you're looking at 270 transactions. You started in the financial world as an insurance guy or whatever, you're an analyst or whatever you're doing, and you end up in this world. It's amazing what we're able to create in this world, right? And the opportunity that the real estate market gives you. And
it's an art.
It really is. And now I want you to talk a little bit about your property, because I was amazed by that. And I'm sorry I couldn't make it Thursday night. I had other events, and just a little too late by getting notified to come. But take me through what you got going on right now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is something special. It's about 33 acres here on the Gold Coast of Long Island in Lloyd Harbor.
Okay.
So 33 acre subdivision, 4 lots on 33 acres.
4 lots on 33.
Four lots. About 1,300 linear feet of beachfront property on the Long Island Sound. All right, so just picture what that looks like. You got views of Connecticut. You got views of Oyster Bay. It's absolutely phenomenal, right? And, the sunsets, the rolling hills over there, the beach is just absolutely perfectly manicured. I had people come to the event and asked, "Am I in Puerto Rico?"
Really?
Swear to God.
Wow.
It's that mind blowing.
So you say event. What's an event? It's selling real estate. I'm seeing so many people do these events. Tell me about that. Like, what's this event that you're talking about? It's so cool.
Yeah, and we said it before, and I'll say it again. It's relationships, right? So if we're able to bring the right people through the door and create and depict this beautiful lifestyle, right? And we couple that with luxury and high-end marketing, that equals a very, very, very successful event, right? Which leads to a massive buzz, right? And to sell the property, right? And we did this recently with another one of our luxury properties over in Laurel Hollow. Again, this was not beachfront or anything like that, but we created an environment, right? And an evening of just of a lifestyle, right? And at the end of the day, at these properties, you're selling the lifestyle. Of course, the home and the finishes are beautiful, but how can this place bring you more happiness, right? How can it bring you closer to your family? How can it bring you closer to your friends? How can it really help you grow as a person, right? Personally, and then also professionally. So these few things just matter so much in everyone's lives. How can we put all that together and help sell that lifestyle that's going to bring all those things?
Awesome. So at this event, who was there?
Everyone from, luxury real estate brokers to TLs, right? Team leaders, to mortgage professionals. We had inspectors there. We had potential buyers there. We had brokers, you name it. We had everyone in the industry was there.
Do you have anybody outside the industry?
Absolutely. We had just small business owners, even CEOs of large Fortune 500 companies. So I don't think that you pigeonhole yourself into a space where you're only inviting people from the industry, because you never know where that buyer is going to come from. Right. Whether it's your sphere, one off from your sphere, maybe it's your aunt and uncle's sphere that is, someone from a small town in Texas that is getting shipped out here to New York, who's got a bunch of money.
So interesting that you're saying this. I coached another agent similar to you, that property. He was doing the same thing. He got creative, same way as you. Had this big event, and to put the video up there, this cat had massages. He had cooks, wine, distributors at the place. Talked to another gentleman in our world where he has watch companies now coming to these events and promoting their watches, and it's all one, because again, it's all about the advertising, where it's not only your world it's going to, but it goes into theirs. And when you get into the luxury market, I would have never thought about this when I was selling them. And I really didn't sell luxury, but if I did, it's such a brilliant idea. What they were telling me was, you're promoting their business and they're promoting yours, and it's the same thing. It's a win-win. If you have a Rolex dealer at your property, what's his database like? Can they afford that world? And the answer is yes. You have cars and all kinds of, BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari, and so on and so on. It's really creative. I think the real estate brokers are really getting creative with this, and these events are becoming like little movies.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. What made you think of that?
You know what? I think as soon as we step foot into the luxury space, we've been really creating a brand that matters to us, right? And we don't want this, we don't want to get lost in the shuffle, right? We want to be front and center. We want to be known for being a family owned and operated business that deals with high end real estate, and we also can deal with a regular sale at $500,000 and still keep that same high standard, right? So as soon as we got into the luxury space, and the more and more we're getting into the luxury space, we understand that we have a great following, right, on social. Why are we not leveraging that more, right? And why are we not growing that more? I look at some of these videos that we post, right? It's like 10,000 impressions in 24 hours. That's phenomenal, right? I can't possibly shake that many hands, right? I can't shake that many hands in 24 hours. It's impossible. So why are we not taking more advantage of plugging more into the social aspect of things and being able to put together this amazing content and be able to share with the world, right? Because again, you never know. I can possibly shake a hand out in California in 24 hours. Why not post this and then be able to target all these people with a click of a button, right? And just some back end work and having a great event and being able to capture all the moments that were special and being able to share that with the world. All of a sudden, you have 10,000 impressions, and you're like, I couldn't have possibly done that, and it happened in your sleep.
It's amazing, man. So
again, it's leverage.
That's all it is.
It's just leverage.
That's all it is. It's amazing. Oh, a little bit more than leverage. It's a combination of what you're doing, which is amazing.
Relationships, leverage, resources, and money.
It's I'm amazed at what you guys are doing. I'm amazed what you're doing out there. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, especially next year with your team and your world. What can I look forward to seeing in 2025?
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to see a lot more of us in the luxury space.
Okay,
you're going to see us a lot more in the luxury space. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to be getting outside our bread and butter and etc. But we are most definitely going to be. You're going to see more of us in that luxury space, and that's just because we're able to have an impact there, and we're already creating. We set ourselves up to be in the luxury space because we're giving a luxury experience, even in the $500,000 price point, right? So. Okay. We basically every single time we're stamping that ticket, right? Whether that's the luxury space or not, we're putting ourselves in a position for the luxury space to see what we're already doing, and we're basically preparing for those opportunities. And that's exactly what we've been doing over the past couple of months. I know you've seen that record sale in Laurel Hollow. Just a lot of amazing things happening right now, and again, I have to attribute that to all of our relationships, my entire team, and then of course Keller and Keller Sports North for putting us in the proper position to be able to do so. And you're going to see a lot more of that, and you're going to see a lot more of our mortgage world growing as well. So I'm excited for people to keep an eye on that, and for us to be able to share a little bit more about what we're doing on that front of the business as well.
Wow, that's awesome. So what are you looking for in your team?
In terms of
just in general, looking for an assistant, right? New assistant, buyers agents, listing agents. What are you looking for?
Yeah, you know what? I think we've over the past 12 months or so, we've really gotten a lot more lean, and I think it's been working really, really well for us. But I would say definitely an admin. I would say an admin is something that we really need to plug into, and we need an admin very soon. To be able to kind of handle the volume that we're expected to be doing, and then we will need an additional showing agent and buyer's agent over the next 6 months, I would say as well.
And when's this development taking off?
So it just went live, right? That event we just did last week was the unveiling. It's taken off already. I mean, we're seeing some great traction. We're seeing an amazing insights in terms of all of our tracking and analytics that we're seeing. But you're going to be seeing a lot more of that. We're going to be doing a lot more amazing things on the site and on the property. and thinking about doing a potential series there as well, which I think, I think will be a really cool aspect to market that property as well.
How can real estate brokers get in touch with you?
I would say Instagram and Facebook's probably the best, right? Instagram is at Steven J. Rivera, that's with a V, or at Team Rivera KW. That's probably going to be the best way to get in touch with us, or Facebook. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of amazing stuff to happen on that property.
Awesome.
And we're just at the glimpse of it right now.
It's so cool. And then you do your own podcast too, right?
I do. Yeah.
What's that about?
That's just about bringing real estate professionals and entrepreneurs into a space where they can share their story and create an amazing place for them to feel comfortable sharing whatever they want to share, right? And I think the name of the podcast is Brick by Brick. So the premise of it is just how you've built your foundation, right? Because I think
it's awesome. I watched it a bunch of times. Really good.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And you know what? At the end of the day, there's you said it earlier, and creating that foundation for your business is just so key, and that's kind of where Brick by Brick came from.
It's awesome. Yankees,
Mets all day.
Such a loser.
LFGM, baby. Let's go. Listen, man. Listen. Last night was brutal, but it was brutal. But that'll give LA a false sense of confidence. That's all.
You hope so. It might give them a strong sense of peace.
Yeah, that's true.
Rangers,
Islanders. Yeah.
Jesus.
Come on, we're always on the opposite side.
Knicks, Nets.
Knicks.
Okay.
I can't be a Nets fan. I'm not. Listen,
I like the Nets.
I'm not from Jersey. Yeah. I can't be a Nets fan.
That's true.
Yeah.
Giants. Oh man.
Yeah. Listen, I grew up in a place where I only won sports when I played, never when I watched.
Okay.
My team never won sports when I was watching.
Yeah, you weren't around for '86, right?
No, I wasn't around for any of that.
Weren't around for the Islanders.
Islanders.
The Knicks, obviously, no. Jets, no.
Mets, the closest I got was
15?
Yeah, I was there. I was at the World Series.
Wow. How old are you?
I was 15, so I was probably 25, 24.
Okay. So, yeah, that's right. Forget about that. Don't make
24.
You played Kansas City, too.
Yeah. They got their asses.
They handed it to you, right?
Oh, man.
So, couple more questions. What would you tell newer real estate agents that are getting into the industry?
Surround yourself with the right people early on.
Okay, and the best advice you would give somebody that's experienced in the industry right now, that was struggling.
Find the right people in your world. Same thing. It's you discount how many of the relationships that you need, right, for you to get to the next level are sitting right in front of you, and you just are either too scared to ask, or you're not seeing it because you're blinded. Sometimes you got to take a step back to be able to see the whole picture, and those people are right in front of you.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you do in 2025 and the rest of 2024. If you ever need anything, you know where I'm at. Thank you so much for being on.
Appreciate it, man.